Hi, welcome to this tutorial. This is the solution for question 15 from Necta 2018 Form 4 past paper. So for A, we're asked to find the point xy if this matrix times point xy is equal to -23 and -11. Okay, so let's say let A be equal to this matrix 2, 3, 4, -1. So to find point xy, what we need to do is take the inverse of A, multiply by this point here, which is -23, -11. So this means we need to find the inverse of matrix A. So A inverse then is going to be equal to 1 over the determinant of A, which is obtained by multiplying these two numbers on this diagonal. So 2 times -1, and then subtract this diagonal here, the numbers on this diagonal, 4 times 3. So the product of those numbers, 4 times 3, and then multiply by this matrix where we swap these numbers and then we change the sign of this diagonal. Okay, so we have a -1, -3, -4, and 2. So A inverse then is going to be equal to 1 over 2 times -1 is -2. Take away 12, this will give you -14. And then we have our matrix as this. So I'm going to leave it like that for now and go back to this point here. Okay, so to get xy, I need to take the inverse of matrix A, which is this one, so -1 over 14, -1, -3, -4, 2, and then multiply with this point. So -23, -11. So remember, this point is obtained from here. All I have to do now is multiply. So I'm going to just multiply these two matrices first, and then come back to this number outside. So xy is going to be equal to, okay, so -1 times -23. So -1 times -23. Then we need to add -3 times -11. So -3 times -11. And then we're now going to these numbers here. So -4 times -23. So -4 times -23. And then we add 2 times -11. 2 times -11. Okay. So don't forget the number outside, which I almost have forgotten. So 1 over -14. Okay, so this will give you xy equals -1 over 14. -23 times -1, that's 23. So that's 23. -3 times -11, that's +33. So plus 33. And then -4 times -23, so that's 92. And then 2 times -11 is -22. We got plus here, so that's going to be take away 22. So this will give you -1 over 14. And then this number on top will be 56, and this will be 70. So xy then is going to be equal to, I'm going to put these numbers inside, so -56 divided by 14, and then we'll have 70 over 14. And this will give you -4 and -5. So x is going to be equal to -4. Y is going to be equal to -5. So point xy then is going to be equal to -4, -5. Okay, so that is A done. Okay, now for B, we're told a translation T maps point PXY in part A into 3, 2. So the point from part A, which was -4, -5, has been translated, and now you get a point 3, 2. Okay, so if you remember, translation is just literally moving things left to right, up or down. So we need to find out, how do you go? Remember, the first one is the x value or horizontal movement. So this is vector basically. How does it go from -4 to 3? You can think of it that way. Okay, so if you're on a number line at -4, how do you get to 3? You need to add 7, but I will show you how to do it. And how do you go on the y-axis? Because that's y, -5. And you go all the way up to 2. How many steps is that? That's 7 again. But this is what you need to do. So you've got -4 because this is vector. -4, -5. And there's been some vectors, some transformation. So it's a fact with a factor of AB. So A meaning movement for horizontal, B movement for vertical direction. And this will give you 3, 2. Okay. So what you have to do, -4 plus A is equal to 3. So therefore A is equal to 3 plus 4 is 7. And -5 plus B is equal to 2. So B is going to be equal to 7. Okay, so the transformation factor AB then is going to be equal to 7. And that's a translation factor. Okay, now we're asked to find where it takes the point 7,4. You can think about it. Just logically, if you're at point 7 on the x-axis and you go 7, because the point on top represents movement in the x direction, horizontal, positive to the right, negative to the left. It's positive 7. So if you're at 7 and you go up to 7, where will you be? 7 add 7 is 14. And if you're at y and you're going up by 7, so if you're at 4 and you go up by 7 steps, where will you be? You'll be at 11. But let's just show that mathematically. So now we've got 0.74, and we are going to translate by this factor, which is now just going to be adding the two. 7 plus 7, 14. 4 plus 7 is 11. So this 0.74 then will be now 0.1411. That will be the image of 0.74. Okay, so that question is now done. So you can say 7.74 will be translated to 0.1411. Okay, right, now for C, we're told find the image of the point obtained in part B under a rotation of 90 degrees followed by another rotation of 180 anti-clockwise. So anti-clockwise, it means is a positive sense when we do these questions. Okay, so the original part, the image of part B then was 1411. What we want to do is rotate it first at 90 degrees. So we want to rotate this point 1411 and we want to know where it will be. So what you need to have is the transformation matrix, which you should know. The transformation matrix for 90 degrees anti-clockwise has to be multiplied. It has to be 0, -1, 1, 0. Okay, then you multiply with your point 1411. If you multiply this out, 0 times 14, so I'm going to speed this up, is 0 plus -1 times 11 is -11. So that will be -11 here. Then y times 14 is 14, add 0 times 11 is 0. So that's just going to be 14. So our 90, when it's rotated, this point, when it's rotated at 90 degrees anti-clockwise, you will end up with -11, 14. So generally, if you're rotating something in the positive sense by 90 degrees, then you will have this equal. This point here will turn it into -yx. So this goes up, but change the sign, and this goes down here. That becomes the y point. Okay, so that's that. But your answer to the first part is this one. Right, so now we're told this point is now followed, this one, by rotation of 180 degrees anti-clockwise. So it's a positive sense again. So now we're going to do rotation 180 degrees. So we should put our degrees there, of this point. So we now have negative 11, 14. Similarly, you need to know the transformation matrix for half a turn. That's 180 degrees. Okay, so that's going to be negative 1, 0, 0, negative 1. And then you multiply by this vector, negative 11, 14. Okay, so if we multiply this, I'm going to speed up again. So negative 1 times negative 11, that gives us 11. 0 times 14 is 0. So the first point is just 11. 0 times negative 11 is 0, plus negative 1 times 14, that will be negative 14. Okay, so that is your answer then. At this point, when it's rotated at 180 degrees anti-clockwise, you will end up with this point here. Similarly, if you are rotating generally something by half a turn, so if you have x, y, then it will just be a negative x and negative y. So you can see here, this has changed the sign, and this has just changed the sign. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this will help you in your exam. Please remember to press the subscribe button to your right, and see you again.